Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Angela Yee. Today we're going to talk about the symbolism behind Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yesterday I did a video about the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and I highlighted how that story is depicting something about you and your consciousness, your journey. It's a story about Dorothy, but it is your story, a story about your journey, your evolution, how you've come through trials and situations and you've triumphant over them. And because you've gone through those hurdles, you had to go through those things in order to realize that you have always had the power to create the reality that you desire to see. And so when I was thinking about that I did that on yesterday. Today I woke up and I had the thought about the Seven Dwarfs, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that story. I believe all of I don't know if you call it a nursery rhyme or a story or whatever, all of them are depicting something about you, your consciousness. And so if you are listening to me, you are going to find something in this story that you can relate to. And so in the story of Snow White, we all know that Snow White was a young woman who had skin that was very, very white as snow. And she had black hair that was ebony and had lips that were red as blood. And she was offered to us in childhood as the quintessential fairy tale princess, as an innocent girl who succumbed to a poison apple only to be awakened by the kiss of a prince. And so if your memory well, wait, somebody's asking me something. Wait just a second. But anyways, we know the story about Snow White, and that it was a beautiful fairy tale, how the prince came and saved her. But I want to talk to you about the hidden things that are beneath the layers of the enchantment. It's an allegory, we know that, and the map of this allegory is quietly outlining the soul's journey through the landscape of the human experience, a passage of which we all go through darkness and light, leading us towards union, towards love. It is a story of the alchemy of being human, falling, but yet rising again. Remember, I talked about we have highs and we have lows. You have valleys and you have the mountaintop. So you rise and fall. And yesterday I was talking with someone, and I was sharing with, today, I was talking with someone early this morning, and I was sharing with them that there's a scripture in the Bible that says, except for a seed fall to the ground and die, that it should not rise again. And sometimes in our journey, we don't want to go through what appears to be bad situations, or situations that are dark, that are bleak. We want things to stay like a fairy tale all the time, just in a land of make-believe, in a land of where everything is going good. But life does not happen like that. Life gives us highs and lows. Now, whether people that you watch on social media share that with you or not, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, life is not always good. You are going to have challenges in this life, but remember, you ordered those challenges. And so therefore, if you ordered them, you know that you have the answer to the problem. You can solve it. You have a solution, because you know that you're not going to give yourself more than what you can bear. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says that as well. And so you order the different things for your soul's journey, for your evolution. This is all about you evolving, you awakening, you're coming into consciousness, you are developing your self-awareness muscle, and you're coming again online or in line with your highest vibrational frequency. That's what this is all about. And so you have to go through those dark moments. You have to have those things where things seems to be so bleak you can't see your way through it. I mean, even if you have a magnifying glass, you couldn't see your way through it by looking in the natural, from the natural perspective. And you have to tune in or turn yourself right side up so that you can see things clearly. You can see things from a different perspective, okay? And so that is the story that we're going to be talking about today, and that is the energy that I feel that a lot of you are in. You're going through something that seems to be dark, and then there's light, and I want to give you definition to that because it's leading you towards union. And where is this union? This union is with yourself. In your transition here, through your mother's womb, through the canal, the channel, and then you got to the hospital, and then the doc, you were at the bank, you know, the doctor, that's where your mother carried you at the hospital. This all symbolism. In that transition here, you lost remembrance about who you were in transition. And so the dark and the light, all of those things help you to remind you about you and remember the union that you have. That's what the whole depiction about communion is in the Bible. It says, do this in remembrance of me. In remembrance that I'm in you, that I've always been in you, that I've always been one with you. I've never been separate from you, that meaning God, never been separate from you. There is no God that's outside of you. And so this is all about a union towards you remembering who you are, but a union towards love as well. It is a story that you being the alchemy of your human experience, you're going to have times where you're falling and you're rising, and then there's a dying and there's a rebirthing. Now, if you've gone through anything that's been traumatic, it feels like death. Some of you are going through experiences right now. It feels like all hell is breaking loose in your house. You feel like you are dying. I'm going to move my vehicle out. So if you're going through anything right now, and it may feel like all hell is breaking loose in your entire life, and that is a good thing. You need all hell to break loose so that heaven can open up to you, so that your consciousness can expand into awareness about who you are. Everything in this reality works off of love. Everything is voice activated, but the voice activation is also come through the energy and the frequency of love. You're going to need love. And so this whole thing is a journey, a soul's journey back into union, back into love of self. Now, I'm not talking about that love of self to where you're self-centered and it's about you and everybody got to do everything for you and people are not bowing down to you and worshiping you. Not that type of egotistical driven type of self-love, but I'm talking about where you love yourself. You love yourself to the being. You love yourself so much to where you're rewriting the narrative of the things that people have said to you that are negative. You love yourself so much that you would not allow people who do not vibrate at the frequency in which you're vibrating at, meaning they're vibrating so low to where they're toxic, they're chaos, and they're spewing all type of negativity into your life. I remember a while back I was dating someone. Dating means collecting data. So I was dating someone and the guy thought that I had a low self-esteem. Now, I told him if you would have caught me maybe 30 years earlier, you probably would have got me. But at this stage of my life, my self-esteem is not low. I love everything about me, from the dents in my skin, the cellulite, from the acne scars, from the freckles on my face, every facet of my being. I absolutely love. That's self-love. And I had to rewrite the narrative because at one point, 30 years plus back, I can honestly say I did not love me. And some of you are like that. Some of you have come through a journey where you did not love yourself. You self-mutilate, you self-sabotage, you self-regulated yourself in order to make other people feel significant. You did not put yourself first. You have put other people first, and you allow the voices within you to be silenced, to be drowned out by the noise and the chaos of other people, because you have this thing about you that you want to serve other people and you want to see other people happy, all at the point of sacrificing your own happiness. You've done this for years for other people, but all of that is changing. You're changing all of that. That you're rewriting the narrative of all of that, and that's why you had to go through these times of like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz to come back home. You had to go through these times with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs where she had to eat the poison. That is being a part of the Matrix. You ate the poison. You took in what they told you. The poison meaning the information, the limiting beliefs, the dark beliefs, the things that they told you that were negative about you. You took in all of that misinformation. You were misinformed about you. And so therefore this prince, which symbolizes your higher self coming to awaken you and to remind you of who you are. So I had to start the video over because somebody else came up again to interrupt, and so I wanted to start the giving you what the meaning of Snow White and the Snow White actually is depicting. Okay, so number one, Snow White as a pure soul. It talks about the purity, the spiritual innocence, where she was innocent before she was programmed and before we got into the Matrix. Before you came here into this 3D dimensional world, there was an innocence about you. That's why the scripture in the Bible says, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. There was an innocence about you. I knew who you were. I was intimately acquainted with you. And so before being told that you were nothing, that you were a sinner, before being told and brainwashed to have limiting beliefs about yourself, there was a purity that was there. There was an innocentness about you. And so it also represents you having a divine spark within your human being. Within all of us, there's a divine nature. There's a divine spark that is within you. So the next thing is the evil queen, which represents the ego and the shadow self. So the ego is the shadow self. The ego and the shadow self is where the queen, we know that she was always talking about who was the fairest of them all. It was always about envy and vanity and attachment to how she appeared to other people. A lot of times people don't move out. You don't move out and do what you know that you're supposed to be doing because you are afraid of how people will see you. You're afraid of how you will appear to other people. Will they like me? Will they not like me? Will they judge me? Will they not judge me? People are always going to judge you. They're always judging you about everything that you do. If you don't call them and check in on them, they're gonna judge you. If you make a decision that they don't agree with, they're gonna judge you. If you show up with makeup on camera, they're gonna judge your makeup. If you don't show up with makeup on, they're gonna judge you. If you have acne, if you have pimples, where you live at, where you drive, people are always going to judge you. You cannot allow what people think and what they say to stop you from showing up and being your true authentic self in this reality. So you got to kill the ego. You got to do the shadow work. You got to bring out the shadow side of you. You got to remove that shadow work by removing the limiting beliefs, by rewriting the narrative, rewrite the program, rewrite what you've been told about yourself from childhood, rewrite the envy, rewrite the jealousy, being envious and jealous of other people. It doesn't look good on you. That's not who you are. There's no one in this reality that you have to be jealous and compete with. The only competition that you've ever had in this reality is the competition that you have with yourself. You're competing with you. Even if there's someone else that's doing the same thing, it's still a competition with you, because if you realize people are mirrors of you, we're reflectors of one another. So there is no competition with someone else. The competition is with yourself. So number 3, the poison. The poison is an initiation into death. The poison apple is dual in color. One side has red and passion, desires, and physical life, and the other side was white. It was spirit and purity. It is the temptation of matter over spirit. So eating it, Snow White, it caused Snow White to die to herself. A lot of you are going through things in this reality, and just like Snow White, you have eaten the apple, which is symbolic of death. You are going through a death experience and only to be reborn again. And I was sharing with someone on the other day that in this life, actually I was sharing with them this morning, that in this life, you are going to have experiences that will feel like you are dying, that you are literally dying. And I talked about how a seed has to go down into the ground and die. And when you plant it in the soil, it has to go deep within the soil and germinate and be embedded inside the soil, and in order for it to come up. But a lot of you don't want to go through things in this reality. And I'm going to be the first to tell you, life is not going to always be peaches and cream. You're not always going to be on the mountaintop. You're not always going to be in the valley either. You're going to have some highs and some really joyful and exuberant highs. I know people on social media never show their low points. They never talk about the times that they've gone through anything. But trust me, the people who are at the top of the mountain, trust me, those are the ones who have experienced just as low valley points in their life. And so going through things such as that seed, when it goes through the ground and it has to die, you're going to have your death moment. If you haven't had it already, you're going to experience your death moment. And I feel like you that's watching me, you've already are at that place where you've had your death experience, to now where you're being born again, or your reborn self. You've been reborn in this space that you're in now. A lot of you, I'm sensing very strongly, you have had to die in this past life. Now, you lived many lives yet in this life, so you've had to die in this past life that you're in, this past I want to say season, for lack of a better word. You've had to have a death moment, a death season in your life and in your reality. And so now you're having your born again experience. You're doing, you're born again to this new version of yourself, and you're dying to the old self. And that symbolizes that you are the alchemist of your own life. You are the alchemist of the indigo. You are the alchemist of the dark night of the soul, and where the ego is dissolved. So we have to dissolve the ego. The ego wants to have just want to run the show. I'm going to say that the ego really wants to run the show. I remember I was talking with someone, trying to see if this person was a person for me, and I sensed very strong that this person had a huge ego, and to where it was hard to break through that ego in order to see the true person. Behind the ego is the real you. Behind that that representative, I call the ego like the representative, because we have this representative, or the ego, to protect us. And so behind that, though, that was a real person. And I remember this person thought that I had a low self-esteem, thought that my self-esteem was extremely low, that I was one of them type of girls who had mommy issues and daddy issues, thought that I was one of those people that they can come in and manipulate. And I had to quickly correct this person, because see, you have to set boundaries. You have to teach people how to treat you. And so I had to set healthy boundaries. And so I quickly reminded the person, look, if you would have caught me maybe 30 plus years ago, you probably would have got me with that. I said, but as of today, I don't have any self-esteem problems. I don't care what other person look at me and say, oh, she got that. Look at her, she has freckles. Or look at her butt is shaped like that. Look at her hips are like this. Look at her legs, she got cellulite in her legs. I can care less about any of those things. I told him, I said, that phrase that we used to say, the little nursery rhyme, sticks and stones may break my bones, and words will never hurt me. Nobody words will ever hurt me in this reality. Never again. I feel like Wonder Woman when somebody says something that I don't that don't resonate with me. I hold up like Wonder Woman did and block the words off. You're not gonna say anything that's gonna stop me from looking at myself as the goddess, as the queen, as confident, as worthy, as valuable as I am. You would never ever be able to rewrite the narrative. I had to rewrite the narrative for 30 plus years of my life to get to this woman that I am. And you've had to do the same. So don't let anybody come into your space and tell you that you are not confident, that you are not worthy, that you're not valuable, that you're not lovable, that you're not all that you have put on the inside of you. Don't let anybody tell you anything otherwise. So the next one is the glass coffin, which represents the preservation of the soul. So being encased in glass represents the soul in a state of stasis, untouched but not yet resurrected. So a lot of you are in the glass coffin. You're not yet resurrected. Your transformation is sealed away until the right conditions bring rebirth. So you're in the process. You're like the butterfly. You're like the caterpillar that's transforming. You're still in the cocoon. Some of you are still in the cocoon phase of your journey to your transformation. Brings about the rebirthing that you are going to experience. You're going to experience this rebirthing. I promise you, you are. You're going to experience it. And some of you are in that glass coffin. You're being preserved. You're being kept. You know, you're being, like they say, set apart. You're being preserved. You're being in that phase, like an incubation phase, like a baby that hasn't been born yet. You're in that phase. The baby is not contaminated by the world because it's inside of the mother's womb. So you're in that phase where you're being kept, where your ancestors and your spirit guides are keeping you, and they're preserving you so that you won't get tainted until it's time for you to be rebirthed. Your rebirthing is happening. And then we have the prince. The prince represents the higher consciousness, the spirit. So the prince kiss is the breath of the spirit, or the awakening of the divine consciousness within the soul. So this union represents the mystical marriage of the higher self and the purified soul. So the kiss from the prince represents your higher self and your purified soul coming into alignment. You're coming back in line. That's what I was saying before. A lot of you have gone through the dark night of the soul. A lot of you are not in the glass case. Some of you have broken through the matrix, and now your higher self and your purified self, or your evolved self, are colliding. There is a great collision that's happening, and inside of this collision, or as a result of this collision, there comes this wedding. That's the best part of the whole story. The wedding of the union of opposites. And so the ending isn't just about a happy marriage. I know we see marriages on social media, and we see the prince and the Snow White getting married, and and everybody wanted to get married as a child. Oh, I just want to have a prince to come and save me. I'm such a damsel in distress, and I just want to be rescued by the prince. But that's not what this is depicting. It's about the union of opposites. The ending isn't just a happy marriage. It is the alchemy, the completion of transformation where opposites, the masculine and the feminine, the spirit, the mother, ego, soul, unite in harmony. So that's what the whole thing is about. Uniting in harmony. The masculine, the feminine, the spirit, the matter, ego, soul, unite in harmony. So in short, I'm going to read this about Snow White's journey in short. My last little thing about this whole point. Snow White's journey is the soul's passage from innocence, trial and temptation, symbolic death, time and inner purification, spiritual awakening. It is an allegory for the human path towards enlightenment, hidden inside what appears to be a simple folk tale. Okay? So that's what this is all about. It's about your path towards enlightenment. Your path towards enlightenment, awakening, unfolding, revealing, coming into line, coming into consciousness. And so don't despise your trials. Don't complain about what you're going through. Find time to be grateful. Gratefulness opens up other opportunities for the universe to give you more. It's like gratefulness is the spigot that opens up the heavens and the consciousness, the universe wide open for you. Okay? So other things can happen. I know you're going through something. I know you've had to endure some different things, but I promise you, it doesn't last always. There's a song that says trouble don't last always, and it doesn't. Trouble does not last always. I promise you it changes. If you will hold on, and keep imagining the life that you want to live, and you keep speaking, because the words are molecular. Words go out into the universe. Words are activated. They're activated through love. Keep loving. Even when things are not going good, even when people are mistreating you, keep loving. Keep showing up. Now, don't confuse me when I say keep loving. That doesn't mean tolerate. bad behavior, but keep loving, keep showing up as love, keep showing up as pure, keep showing up as innocent, keep showing up as like Snow White. Keep showing up, keep allowing the ego to die so that you can rise and be this evolved person who has transformed their life, who has gone through this experience, who has now walked into this place of enlightenment. So I said the other day I wanted to do some cards, but I'm still gonna do that, but I'm gonna do this as well. I want to pick a card out of this little deck that I have. Now again, I'm not a tarot card reader, but I felt like maybe this is what Source wanted me to do. So I'm gonna give you guys one card from this deck, but I still am gonna do 3 other cards. I'm gonna be doing that soon, but I'm gonna pick a card out of this deck. As you can see, these are the cards, and I'm just gonna allow the spirit to lead me as to which card comes out to me. So I'm going to pick this one. I haven't seen it, and I'm going to show it to you all, and it is upside down so you can see that. Okay, let's see it again, and I'm going to find what this card means, so give me 1 second to do that. Okay, so let's find what that card means. It means pleasure. Okay, it means pleasure. Let's read what the guidance is. You are thirsty for more pleasure. You can thrive when life feels dry. Boy, I should have worn my glasses. When life feels dry, you are made of laughter and stardust from sawdust. Pleasure is your birthright, a gift from the universe. So I don't know why this card came out upside down. Maybe you haven't been enjoying life. Maybe that's what this is telling you. That pleasure is your birthright, and how much juicy pleasure can you stand? So it says turn up on the pleasure principle. Janet Jackson had a song called Pleasure Principle. So maybe perhaps you are not enjoying life. Maybe perhaps you are not laughing. You're not enjoying. You're not experiencing the level of joy that you desire to experience here. And maybe perhaps this card is your reminder that you need to start enjoying life. You need to get out of your comfort zone. And you know, sometimes if you've been invited to the party, you stay up against the wall. You need to come off that wall and start enjoying life and all of life pleasures. Do some things that bring you joy. Do some things that you enjoy doing, and spend time outside in nature. But find something that brings you the joy and the pleasure that you so deserve here in this reality. Okay, but I do believe that that card is for someone to remind you that you need to start enjoying pleasure, because some of you are not enjoying this reality. It's all work and no play, and you've got to have play. You have to put play inside of your work. Okay, all right. So my name is Angela Yee, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. And until next time, guys, look at some of the other content that's on my page. And if you want to reach out to me, I'll leave all the information in the comment section of this video. All right, you have a good day, guys. Bye now. Bye.